if you've clicked on this video, then I'm guessing that you probably want to leave the UK, or you're wondering why we left the UK.
So we both left the UK over 2 years ago to go and live in Australia, and it's one of the best decisions we've ever made.
So, the current state of the UK, honestly, I don't know.
I mean, we can only go
what we've
heard the last 2 years because we haven't actually been in the UK.
Yeah.
But just to start off, everything we do here is pretty much. You don't hear much good, do you, about the UK?
You don't hear much good. I mean, we've had 3 prime ministers in 1 year. If that's not a red flag, then I don't know what is. We've also, I think after COVID, I know it was the same for so many countries, but UK has literally had the worst toll for small businesses. Interest rates, taxes have gone up, hard to find a job, cost of living. I just feel like it's had a massive impact on everyone else's moods there as well.
It does seem like more and more people are leaving. That's another thing we definitely notice. We notice in Australia as well how much happier people are. Yeah. Just speaking to them, if they talk about their country, Australia for example, they're so positive about it, they're so proud about to be where they're from. You speak to someone about the UK and they're just like, oh yeah, I'm from the UK, and they just, it's like, they try and like...
That's like us. Yeah. Everyone's like, where are you from?
Like, okay. But in Australia, they're like, yeah, I'm from Australia, start telling you about their city and how good it is and stuff. It's a massive difference.
That's only what we've noticed anyway, and I just, yeah, I think it's just a whole negative, not a vibe. Like, it's always raining, it's always cold, it's always miserable. You get like a week of summer.
And since COVID, everyone seems to be leaving. I think we were some of the first ones to go to Australia, the first kind of crowd, but now it seems it's so popular now for people to leave to go to Australia and stuff and other places.
And I'm not saying that the UK is terrible and it's always been bad, because it's our home country and I'll always have my heart there because that's where my family lives. That's
realistically,
where I was brought up.
We have to move back at some point because we can't keep living in other places forever.
On a working holiday visa.
On a visa, do you know what I mean? So we've got to actually move back eventually. We just hope it's in a bit of a better state by the time we move back.
We hope so anyway. But hopefully we can work for ourselves. So please
subscribe.
So yeah, a little bit of an overview. I mean, you can just Google the UK and it'll come up with a list of negatives.
I mean, people who live in the UK don't really need much explanation, I think.
It's really
they know how it is. Some people might love it, but I think a lot of people are pretty negative about it.
But anyway, video is our reasons why we left the UK, because each to their own, everyone's different, everyone's reason is personal, so we just thought we would shine the light on what our reasons were.
So the main reason I moved to Australia is because they offer a working holiday visa, which means you can work there for a year. I actually we both extended to 2 years because of doing our farm work. But they offer a year visa where you can work. There's not that many countries you can do that. It's Australia, New Zealand, where we are now, and Canada. Australia was always top of that list for me. I was always going to move to Australia, and to do it for a year sounded so exciting.
And obviously when you do these work and holiday visas, if you really love the place, there is always options if you look for them to be able to stay in that place permanently. For us, I don't think it will be a permanent decision to stay out here because we want to one day have a family and be close to our own family when that happens.
Yeah. And then we'd have to get sponsored from a job anyway and work in that job for like 4 years.
And
we don't really fancy that, do we?
We don't really want to.
We could use 4 years travelling the world or...
working on ourselves.
Yeah, working on ourselves, which should be a lot better.
So one of the main reasons that I kind of moved away from the UK was genuinely being in my 20s. I felt so confused and stuck. Yes, I still do feel like that. The whole reason being is moving out of your hometown to somewhere far away and moving out of England. You have the opportunity to grow as a person and be put in so many situations that are so tough, mentally challenging, and you just watch yourself grow into something that you never would have been if you stayed, I guess, in England, because it's a different way of living. I've
probably experienced more difficult situations in the last 2 years than in my whole life, but all of them become a positive once you've gone through it because you learn so much and it makes us stronger and stuff, doesn't it?
So when you hear people go, I'm going to move to Australia and find myself, don't believe it because, well, I mean, some people may, but honestly, I'm still like confused.
It doesn't just sort everything.
It doesn't sort everything out.
At first it seems like, oh, this is sick, like all my problems are gone. Yeah. And then you actually get into the routines of working and stuff and you realise it's all the same. Yeah. Just you're in a nicer place.
Exactly. So sticking on that, I'm going to talk about the lifestyle, the difference between the UK and living somewhere like Australia or New Zealand. Probably Canada, I've never been there, but I imagine it's a different way of living. For one, I just think the cities are a lot cleaner. 2, the work balance kind of thing. Especially in Australia, it's so sunny and hot in the mornings.
Yeah.
Everyone's got that vitamin D pumping through their veins. They're so happy. I mean, not everyone, but what I can see and my feelings, that's how I felt.
Yeah, no one wants to go out in the UK in the winter. It gets light at like 8 a.m. It's still 0 degrees.
Yeah.
That takes some motivation to get outside and actually do a run or something. In Australia, it's almost like you feel rude not getting out because the weather's so nice all the time, which helps so much.
And even just my overall mindset of being away from England, I feel a lot more clearer. I feel a lot more motivated to work on goals and pursue them and just be a better person. Whereas, I don't know, it's just a weird vibe in the UK. I just don't feel like my true self.
You're surrounded by a lot more like-minded people, definitely, and other travellers.
Yeah,
compared
that's the main one, yeah.
Just like, no disrespect or whatever back home, but everyone's sort of on the same vibe there. Here you're hearing a lot more stories from people that are definitely like inspiring and stuff, and it makes you want to do more of that sort of thing.
But then obviously, like we said at the beginning, it's each to their own, because the path that we're on right now, we thrive off stories about travel and stuff like that, whereas someone back home, they actually might be happy just with their
friendship group.
Yeah, the friendship group and their life, like that's totally fine, but that's just us.
So the next one for me was just for a change and to get away from the life that I'd always lived. I lived at home till I was 21. You went uni and stuff, so you had the experience of moving out. I didn't at all. I lived at home till I was 21, so I was desperate to move out. We were even looking at moving out in the UK when our visa was delayed because of COVID. As soon as we were able to come to Australia, we were so excited because, I wanted to move out for so long, and living at home till 21, I was so desperate to get out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just do it big. If I'm going to move out, I might as well move to the other side of the world.
And do you know what I feel like? Obviously, being out in Australia and stuff, we've always gone for shared houses because it's in our price bracket and we can still enjoy ourselves and do so many cool activities. Whereas if I went to the UK, I don't think I could do a shared house.
Literally not
I just don't know if I could do that.
I couldn't either.
I feel more confident doing it with total strangers abroad.
And there's a good chance they're going to be travellers and stuff as well.
Exactly. So whereas I've never done a shared house really with people I don't know in the UK. But
neither have I.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that, definitely not.
I don't know. So the next one is the wage. Now, let me talk about the Australian wage. You've probably heard us mention it in many
times.
Videos before, but we're going to go back to Australia before we go home to save our money because
purely because of the wage, really.
It's just so good.
And we do love it there, but the wage is the main thing.
Just so nice.
Yeah. I didn't even know the wage was so good until I started working there, and I was looking at like how much I was getting paid, and it was like double the UK, almost double.
So to put it into perspective, I had quite a higher up job. Like I was a team leader, restaurant shift leader in a restaurant back home. I think I was getting paid £11 an hour, which is a big responsibility. I mean, I know it's hospitality, but it's more of a responsibility. And then I went into a job in Australia where I had no experience at all, and I was getting paid $31 an hour,
which is like £17
£70
at least, maybe more.
And I mean, I had no experience in this job, and then I ended up staying there a year, and it was great. But wow. You can save.
Even just the most basic jobs, just working in a bar, in a shop, like you're gonna get at least like we're getting paid 26 an hour to pick tomatoes on a farm. Yeah,
obviously it depends because I've heard that Canada's a bit more of a lower wage, but New Zealand is still low, but it depends what you do.
A bit more than the UK.
Bit more.
It's not nowhere near Australia though.
Yeah, Australia definitely wins the wage. One thing that me and Luke absolutely love doing is going for hikes and just exploring around, and especially me for running as well. Honestly, being in Australia, New Zealand, even Southeast Asia had some good hikes.
Yeah.
It's a total different experience to what you get in the UK. The things that we have seen are just incredible.
Yeah, it's like your average hike. Like in the UK, you're gonna be walking in the fields and stuff. It's obviously nice, but you go on a hike in Australia, especially if you're somewhere nice, like a popular city or something, it's amazing. And
we were still doing our 9-to-5 jobs, but the weekends were just incredible. Yeah. So I guess that's another one going off on a tangent, but
also to see the scenery and stuff as well. I know Australia's massive, but to have all that sort of stuff, the beaches and everything on your doorstep is amazing. In the UK, you don't really have all that on your doorstep. Yeah, the beaches mostly. So
I definitely think your weekends are 100% more better when you're abroad, because there's just so much to do, so many hikes, so many beaches, so many mountains, activities. We went whale watching, sandboarding.
Yeah, so many things you never do back home.
Also working 9 to 5. I mean, you can go out your way to do cool stuff back home, but I feel like people just don't in the UK.
Yeah, it just opens up more opportunities because you've travelled all the way to Australia. We went and travelled in Asia for 2 months.
Yeah.
That we would have probably not done that from the UK.
No.
It was literally like a 4-hour flight from Perth to get to Asia, so it opens up so many more opportunities to travel to other places, especially on this side of the world.
Especially when you get the travel bug, I feel you want to keep going. Yeah, you want to keep going.
Yeah.
And it literally just takes that one step. Book the ticket, get the visa, and just do it.
Yeah, these are the main reasons why we decided to move, but in reality, in short, it was just, why not? It wasn't really too much thought. I don't know how much thought was behind yours, but...
A little bit of thought. I mean, I kind of just quit my job and realised that I weren't cut out for management at the age of 21, and I was like, I need to live my life, I need to just go and live it, and Australia was the best place to go and live that.
Yeah, it was something that I've always wanted to do, but obviously these points all contribute to one of the reasons why it was Australia, not Canada, for example. So there are our main points for moving away from the UK. Overall, we definitely recommend it. Even if you were to just do a few months or a year, you learn so much in that process. If you do longer like we have, you're just going to learn so much more than you would if you just stayed at home for a few years. So we'd definitely recommend it wherever you decide to move in the world.
You're being put in so many different situations like we've discussed, and just learning about different people's cultures, way of living. It's very important life skills that they don't teach you at school. So yeah, my recommendation to you is book the ticket. Don't think about it, book it one way. Just go, leave now.
Don't think too much into it. If you regret it, then you can always go back, but I doubt you regret it.
That's one thing that I always said, because it was so scary going on my own, and I always said, if I don't like it, give it 3 months, and if I don't like it still, I'll go back. But then in 2 years later...
Still learning like 3 months, but 2 years later.
2 years later, I'm still here, so... But yeah, we hope you like this video. Thought we'd do a more educational, our own opinion kind of video, so...
If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments and we can respond to them in the comments or with another video.
Yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.